A good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Tuesday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition. Rwanda is set to host a world-class arts festival and exhibition focused on environmental conservation. Experts in musculoskeletal and neurological rehabilitation indicate that more than 3.5 million people in Rwanda need physiotherapy services, including therapeutic massage and treatments aimed at reducing physical fatigue. Once again, we're glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Abera. As we begin, let us inform you that on Tuesday at Village Urugwiro, President Paul Kagame received a delegation of 19 members of the Young Presidents Organization and their spouses, led by Rogelio Romero, chapter representative of YPO Gold Panama and CEO of Concretex Panama. YPO is a global leadership community connecting over 38,000 business leaders across over 130 countries. The Panama chapter brings together senior executives from prominent Panamanian firms and investment groups. Discussions centered on Rwanda's transformation, the growing entrepreneurship ecosystem, as well as opportunities for business and economic partnership between Rwanda and Panama. Moving ahead, economic and health experts from more than 25 African countries are in Kigali to discuss ways of ensuring that the cost of healthcare does not become a burden on families to the extent that they are forced to sell their assets to pay for treatment. In Rwanda, users of community-based health insurance Mutuelle de Santé say it has significantly reduced the cost of accessing healthcare. We have more.
Who have spent long periods in hospitals, including those suffering from chronic illnesses such as respiratory diseases, say that Mutuelle de Santé has enabled them to continue receiving medical care throughout their treatment.
Honestly, I don't think there is any other government that could do something like this. For the 7 years I have been here, they are the ones who have supported me in every way. They provide everything I need: food, drinks, including milk, and any other necessities. They take care of all of it. Most of the time I am here at the hospital because whenever I have difficulty breathing, I have to come here for treatment. Without proper medical care, I would not survive. If I do not have Mutuelle de Santé, I would have to pay 100% of the medical costs myself, and I would not be able to afford it because the expenses are extremely high.
Across Africa, an estimated 384 million people have been pushed into extreme poverty after spending all their assets on healthcare because they lacked health insurance coverage. Meanwhile, another 423 million people face severe financial hardship in accessing healthcare services in 2022. Health and economic experts from more than 25 African countries are meeting in Kigali to examine ways of preventing healthcare costs from becoming a financial burden that leaves family impoverished. Dr. Fernand Rwamwejo, an official in the Health Workforce Development Department at the Ministry of Health, says the government has implemented a number of measures aimed at ensuring healthcare services do not become an excessive burden on citizens.
The other one is investing in the community-based health insurance. As you know, this is an insurance that covers more than 90% of our population and ensures that people don't face financial hardship while paying for services, or that they have to choose between household expenses and accessing healthcare. So these are some of the investments we've made to ensure that our population is really covered and protected.
The representative of the World Health Organization in Rwanda, Dr. Brian Chilombo, highlights that Rwanda has made remarkable progress in advancing universal health coverage through its community-based health insurance scheme.
We are particularly pleased that this meeting is happening here in Rwanda, a country that exemplifies strong political commitment to financial protection and universal health coverage. Through its community health insurance system and its sustained investment in primary health care, Rwanda has made remarkable progress in expanding coverage and at the same time reducing financial barriers to care. The vast majority of Rwandans in this country are now covered by health insurance. And out-of-pocket costs have fallen to some of the lowest levels in our continent, while use of essential health services has increased significantly.
For the 2025-2026 fiscal year, the cost of healthcare services covered under Mutuelle de Santé was projected to exceed 149 billion Rwandan francs. Meanwhile, in 2026-2027, contributions from Mutuelle members are expected to increase to nearly 70 billion Rwandan francs, resulting in the government's contribution decreasing to 52%, down from 67% within a single year. Healthcare spending is considered to have become a financial burden on a household when it exceeds 10% of the family's total income or 25% of the household's non-food expenditures. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Enora, for that report. Now heading over to IAG's Trust and the Ministry of Education, who have launched a project to teach the history of the genocide against the Tutsi through genocide memorials, particularly those that have been designated as World Heritage Sites. The project is expected to help school leaders, teachers, and students between the ages of 12 and 18 gain a deeper understanding of the history of the genocide against the Tutsi through the use of memorial sites. The head of the Education Policy Department at the Ministry of Education, Rose Baguma, explained that the initiative is a significant contribution to the ministry's efforts to teach history, especially the history of the genocide against the Tutsi.
Happened in 1994 here in Rwanda. The 1994 genocide against the Tutsi is a lesson to everyone. It happened because it was prepared. It happened because there were people who were teaching young, I would say the youth, also to implement it. So we need to learn from our past. We need to build the future. We need to teach our students, our learners, our children to live peacefully with others and to build the future. So it's very important today because in other youths, it can happen again if you just forget and say nothing happened. But if you teach them, it builds I would say, unity, reconciliation, but also building the future of the country. There is a lot of, I would say, support, because what we teach in our schools is more theory. So we encourage all schools, we encourage school leaders to facilitate students, even teachers, to visit memorial sites, because we want to link what they're learning in class, but also the realities in memorial sites that shows what happened in 1994 genocide. So we need to link that, and it's also an addition to what they're learning in classrooms. Very, very important in education system.
The Partnerships Officer at the IAG's Trust, Joeli Benita Habiyambere, explained that these memorials should serve as educational tools for young people, providing lessons that will help them build a country free from division and discrimination.
We recognize that online and on digital platforms, social media, there's so much misinformation, and yet we have memorials that are powerful learning places that preserve our truth and are very powerful educational tools. So this is why we're strengthening the educational capacities around these memorials, because they hold the truth that can't be found anywhere else. So I think that's the most powerful tool to use to fight against the misinformation that is available online or in other spaces. So we are glad these memorials were preserved. We are glad our history was preserved. We are now trying all the best with all the partners, Minunge, Mineduc, UNESCO and Aegis Trust, to make these spaces a tool to educate the generation and to combat genocide ideology that is being spread everywhere in the world.
Karel Frakapan, Program Specialist for Memory and Memorialization at UNESCO, explained that through this project, the organization aims to connect the history of the genocide against the Tutsi taught in classrooms with its physical evidence and memorial sites, enabling learners to better understand the gravity and consequences of the genocide.
What is really important here is to enhance the capacities of memorial sites to be educational places. These are places where the genocide happened. They bring young people and people all together closer to the reality of the genocide, to what happened. This is much more than simple classroom work, that simple historical work. There's a very, very strong I would say emotional dimension to memorial sites, but it brings you closer to the humanity of victims. And this is why this project is so important, because it sort of bridges what is being taught in the classroom, so the formal system of education, and the non-formal system of education. Brings people closer to the victims to a certain degree, I should say. We often speak about the fact that in this genocide, about 1 million people lost their lives.
In 2023, genocide memorials, including the Kigali Genocide Memorial at Gisozi, the Ntarama Genocide Memorial in Bugesera District, the Murambi Genocide Memorial in Nyamagabe District, and the Bisesero Genocide Memorial in Karongi District, were inscribed on UNESCO's World Heritage List. The memorials are used by writers, researchers, and visitors seeking to understand how the genocide against the Tutsi was planned and implemented. The Court of Assize in Paris, France, has begun hearing the appeal case of Rwanda national Dr. Eugene Rwamucyo, who is accused of involvement in the genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. Dr. Rwamucyo was sentenced 2 years ago by the Court of Assize in France to 27 years in prison after being found guilty of complicity in the genocide and complicity in crimes against humanity. The age of 67-year-old is now seeking to be acquitted of the charges against him. The government of Rwanda has established a national artificial intelligence agency, which will be Rwanda's first institution dedicated to AI, expected to contribute significantly to the development of AI in Rwanda and across the African continent. Adam Squizera with more.
May I confirm you are in Remera and would like the name...
At Noskin Kigali, a hub that supports technology entrepreneurs, a wide range of innovative projects can be found there, many of which are powered by artificial intelligence, AI. Karmabuka is among the many who have begun experiencing the benefits of AI, which continues to make significant strides in Rwanda.
The AI, you just ask exactly what you want, it does that research for you and brings it back for you. So I use tools like Perplexity and Claude to do that. Also when it comes to writing, so we do documentation for work, like for the things we sell, but also like sending emails. I can ask it to correct my grammar, so I don't have to read through, or even for it to help me to bring it out in the way I want it to come out. So that's what I use AI for. But also at work, we sell voice agents. Voice agents are interfaces that act as customer care.
Bigirimana Jean Damascene of HealthEduc, a healthcare company that utilizes AI, says technology has already become deeply integrated into the health sector, particularly in accelerating service delivery.
This is one of the technology that is providing rehabilitation services to people that were not able to get the services otherwise, because rehabilitation professionals are very few. The number of rehabilitation professionals in the country, in Rwanda, in Africa, and in the world is still very low. So statistics shows that more than 60% of people in need of rehabilitation services don't get them in Africa. So using artificial intelligence is one of the tools that can really help helping people to access the services that they were not able to access. So what we did is with YAMC, there is a platform called IRI platform, and this IRI platform has been trained for rehabilitation services. So it means that the rehabilitation profession trained it like if a patient asks this, respond this. If a patient asks this, respond this. If a patient has this particular inquiry, respond like this.
As part of efforts to accelerate the implementation of Rwanda's National Strategy for Transformation NST2, the cabinet meeting held on Monday approved the establishment of National Artificial Intelligence Agency. Nyonguru Odas, the CEO of Umuganda Digital and an expert in application of AI, says the center is expected to bring together stakeholders in the AI ecosystem and government institutions to strengthen the country's development agenda.
One thing is, there are two things that are necessary at this stage. One is coordination, the other is amplification. One, the coordination of the different stakeholders that are working in the AI sector, including us as the private sector, including academia, including the public sector in its different forms or different sectors that would benefit from AI technologies, as well as other key stakeholders in the development and deployment of AI. So this coordination is very much needed at the national level. The second part is the amplification. As I mentioned, there's a foundation that the agency would be finding already existing, including the national AI policy, including some pilots of some use cases that can be scaled to a national level, also exported. So these two things is where I see the National AI Agency mainly bringing additional strength to the already existing foundation that is there.
The center will be responsible for overseeing the implementation of artificial intelligence in Rwanda and beyond. Its mandate will include driving digital transformation in public institutions, conducting research, AI skilling, promoting ethical and responsible AI use, supporting industry development, leveraging AI for economic growth.
First and foremost is to ensure that it works for everyone. As you know, traditionally, artificial intelligence has been built on data sets from the West, meaning it sometimes loses some context and linguistic nuances that Africans or Rwandans in particular need to fully benefit or harness the benefits of AI. So there's that need for local context. For example, the work that we do here is to ensure that AI works in local African languages, starting with Kinyarwanda. So that the farmer who needs advisory information, the farmer who needs market prices can get that information in Kinyarwanda, because the majority of the population only speaks Kinyarwanda.
The agency will also centralize its AI efforts to ensure efficient implementation, coordination, attraction of talent, investment, and advanced technology on the continent. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
The Rwanda Basic Education Board says that the teaching assistant program, which has been in place for the past 5 years, has contributed significantly to improving the quality of education here in Rwanda. We have more.
Francine Mujawayezu, a 26-year-old, was selected among high-performing students shortly after completing secondary school and was given the opportunity to work as a teaching assistant while waiting to join university. She says the experience inspired her to develop a passion for teaching, which motivated her to continue pursuing the profession even while undertaking her master's degree. It helped us develop a passion for the teaching profession, which motivated me to continue studying education in mathematics and computer science at the bachelor's degree level. I am now also an ICT teacher at GS Kimisagara.
Nyarugenge district.
Other young people who have also benefited from opportunities to work as teaching assistants say the program helped them find ways to finance and continue their university studies. They add that it boosted their confidence and prepared them to take on leadership responsibilities among their peers.
The teaching spirit is already in me because whenever I am needed at the school where I used to teach, since it is near my home, they often call me to go and assist students. I believe teaching does not end at the internship stage. Rather, it has remained in me in such a way that I feel that even in the future I will continue to be a teacher in one way or another.
Ivan Mwari, the country representative of the MasterCard Foundation in Rwanda, which supports this initiative, emphasized that the results of the program have been outstanding and highly commendable.
For the longest time, the teaching profession was viewed as one which, when people have failed in other professions, they turn to. But in this program, we were able to attract the brightest young minds to join the teaching profession. And it was through placing them to schools, giving them pedagogical skills on how they deliver in teaching. And the program also gave them the tools to help them to deliver in the space. So I think today is a great testament of how we can shift and grow and improve and strengthen the education system. We've seen this, you saw today with the testimonies from some of the young people in terms of how the program had an impact on them, both in terms of the skills they developed, both also in terms of the shift in mindset, and also in terms of agency that they are bringing in how they contribute to society at large. Especially for girls, we want to see more participation of girls in STEM subjects, but also in the teaching profession. There is a gap in terms of leadership. And as you may have seen the statistics, a lot of these girls, 70% of the students are girls. So it's a way of equalizing and making sure that there's better representation in the education system.
The Executive Director of Inspire, Educate and Empower Rwanda, Emmanuel Murenzi, says the organization works closely with the Ministry of Education to strengthen the quality of education, beginning with the students who have completed secondary school.
Supported teaching and learning of science and technology and engineering and mathematics in lower secondary, but you have also helped promoting literacy and numeracy in lower primary classes. You entered classrooms not merely as assistants, but as role models, mentors, sources of inspiration. Through your enthusiasm, discipline, and commitment, you demonstrated that young people can be powerful agents of positive change.
The Director General of the Rwanda Basic Education Board, Dr. Nelson Barushimana, notes that since the launch of the program, the quality of education has improved considerably.
Important outcomes of this initiative has been its contribution to building interest in teaching among talented young people. As you have heard today, a significant number of former teacher assistants have gone on to pursue education-related programs in higher learning institutions, as just you have heard.
The Teaching Assistantship project, funded by the MasterCard Foundation, has now been running for 5 years. It initially targeted 70% female secondary school graduates, but was later expanded to include male participants as well. To date, the program has benefited a total of 3,000 young people.
Rwanda is set to host a world-class arts festival and exhibition focused on environmental conservation. This 6-month-long festival comes after Nyandungu Park was awarded as one of the best managed urban parks in the world. And Gladys with more.
Among the diverse plant species found in Nyandungu Eco Park, the area is one of the few places where biodiversity and clean air can be experienced within an urban settling in Africa. This has made it an exceptional site that has attracted global attention, earning 3 awards as one of the best managed urban parks in the world. However, human activities continue to be the leading cause of the environmental degradation and the destruction of biodiversity, with some species at risk of extinction. Although scientific solutions are being explored, they have not yet produced sufficient results. Art, however, is seen as a powerful tool for change, according to Benji Liebman, the CEO of Nirox, a company specializing in using art for environmental conservation, who also explains why they chose to collaborate with Rwanda.
When he came to Kigali, he discovered this eco park and realized that this was an opportunity to recreate Nirox in another place, and he approached me. We came to visit about 4 years ago to see if it was feasible. Decided that it was more than feasible, that it was necessary, desirable. But it's taken that long to put it together to this first stage, which is a pilot plant, a pilot project rather, to host an exhibition. When that exhibition has run its course and proven the case, we will then proceed to bring the overall Nirox initiative here. And what we have found is that people understand the subject of conservation much better through the arts. We've all seen that science has failed to cure the conservation issue. We have not changed our ways as humans. We continue to destroy the earth, despite all the scientific evidence. Art speaks to people in a different way. It speaks to them at an emotional level, at an intuitive level, and we believe that will have a greater impact on how humans engage with the earth. And we see that when we see them engaging at Nirox. You've got to fall in love with nature again. That's what's got to happen to humanity.
Rwandan artists say they are ready to contribute to environmental protection through their artworks, adding that the upcoming festival in Rwanda will be an opportunity for growth and learning from other world-renowned artists.
I think as a creative, my work is to address the problem and then find a solution for it, and also teach people how to think out of the box, because soil and water, it's an element. So I see soil as an earth element, and then I see water as the element within us and the element that is outwards. So how do you balance them? So we balance them by addressing the problem and finding the solution, and teaching people how to conserve, like where we live, how we think, how we act. So our words, our actions, our intentionality, by bringing light to protect this environment. I think what is missing is to address the importance of living in a clean environment, but it starts, we are responsible for everything. So how do you teach somebody who uses plastics versus somebody who doesn't, or somebody who doesn't know how to clean water, and somebody who throws garbage on the street? So how do you address that to have a clean environment?
From August to March 2027, Nyandungu Eco Park will host a 6-month-long exhibition of environmental art, where messages will be conveyed through works created by artists from around the world. This exhibition makes Rwanda the second African country to host such an event after South Africa, while it has also previously been held in Europe and Australia. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Experts in musculoskeletal and neurological rehabilitation indicate that more than 3.5 million people in Rwanda need physiotherapy services, including therapeutic massage and treatments aimed at reducing physical fatigue, a sector that also has the potential to create significant employment opportunities. Aging, disability, and the effects of chronic diseases are among the factors driving the growing demand for physiotherapy services. However, the number of trained professionals is still insufficient to meet market demand.
Those who graduated, so like, for example, let's take last year graduation. So all these are on the market. So either in a private clinic, public hospitals, in sports. All of these are where physiotherapists can work and be productive. So for the market, we are not yet satisfied the market in Rwanda because there are some more health facilities that don't have physiotherapists. For example, health centers, we only have physiotherapists, at least 2 at the medicalized health centers and at least 2 at the district hospital, specialized hospital, referral hospitals, and teaching hospitals. So all these levels, they have physiotherapists, only the health centers, and of course, why not health posts that also operate at the community at the grassroots level. They also need physiotherapists, but structure health system in Rwanda, we are still waiting to be employed at the low level where all community members can access easily.
More than 400 physiotherapy professionals from 40 countries across Africa and beyond spent 2 days last week discussing the profession and exploring ways Africans can develop local solutions, including manufacturing equipment needed in the sector.
It's quite easy in my country to access rehabilitation equipment. They can be a little bit expensive, and that's because of the economy and the dollar exchange, but it's very easy to get the equipment. For some, the local communities, they do make their own prostheses, especially for patients with disability, but usually a lot of our products are imported.
The vice president of the Rwanda Physiotherapy Organization believes that if physiotherapy equipment were manufactured in Africa, it would become more affordable.
It is like a gathering of brightness minds of physiotherapy in Africa and in the world. So we expect to have a good discussions around this profession and the research done, especially when we go in technology and the design of some equipment used in physiotherapy, because as research shows, all the equipment, all the softwares are coming from outside, from the Europe, from America, from India and elsewhere. But we observe few equipment designed and produced in Africa. So we need to position ourselves to give solutions on this trend of technology in physiotherapy equipment and the softwares. They are similar, but you know, when you go the background of African education, we are like consumers, but not producers of this equipment. So there is a trend to change our curriculum and or our curricula around Africa to emphasize on teaching our students how to design those equipment, how to produce those equipment that can help our patient in their life or in the hospitals, in different hospitals. So that is the main theme in this workshop. Yes, some equipment are very costly, but as I told you, we need to bring solution to make our own design equipment, which can be more cheaper compared to those from America or Europe or India. When it is done in Africa with the African context, they can be more cheaper than the actual prices on the market.
Globally, the number of people in need of such services is estimated at around 3 billion. And on that note, we've come to the end of tonight's bulletin. On behalf of the news production team, thank you for sticking with us here on RTV News. My name is Martina Abera, and until next time, stay safe and have a good night.